Greetings and welcome back to Stellaris, my United Nations of Earth playthrough. It is time for the 2450 State of the Union. Currently the galaxy is at war. Our Federation, the Galactic Technologist Alliance, is in a war with the Cosmic Defense Force in the War of Alliances. We started the war as a humiliation war. It was actually proposed by, I believe, the Pirac, or the League of Phemisto proposed this one, for us to humiliate the Ivzorak. And right now we are winning this war pretty handily. It won't be much longer before we achieve our war goals. We're at war with the Ivzorak and their two vassals, the United Uberic Pact and the Tillinesti Hive. We currently occupy all of Ivzorak space, as well as the majority of United Uberic Pact space, and the majority of Tillinesti Hive space. They have a few systems still, but we are working on taking those away, and we do not occupy all of their planets yet. Also in the war are the Garanshu and the Darbalans. We have no occupation in Darbalan space, but we almost completely occupy, actually we do completely occupy the Garanshu space. So it's only the Darbalans and a few systems here that are holding out, but we, like I said, we do not have full occupation on all of their worlds. So we will not have 100% occupation anytime soon. But we are still handily beating the war. Now, they had a few fleets pop back up here, but I have fleets en route to dislodge them and make sure that we maintain control of their systems. We are also in a war with the Trappist, Empire of Trappist. They rebelled against the Piracs, and we have already pretty much smashed them. We don't have complete occupation on their worlds yet. I'm not rushing that. I'm hoping to end the War of Alliances before I take care of the Radical Uprising. I believe there's going to be war as long as there are empires outside of our Federation. And I actually am afraid that once we get rid of everybody who's not in our Federation, members of our Federation will start turning on each other, trying to vote them out so that they can conquer them. Because the computer tends to want to continue conquest. It doesn't like peaceful resolutions very much. Now, currently, the Commonwealth of Man and their ally, the Citizen State of Azuk, are neutral in this, as is the Sonderthan Star Hierarchy, which is a Scalarium under the League of Brian States that the League of Brian States booted out of our alliance for some reason. I still do not understand why they ejected their own vassal. As for our colonies, the majority of my colonies are now fully developed. They have every building fully upgraded and are completely done with development. Earth is an industrial world with some administrative centers. Its orbital ring supports both sides of its industry, consumer goods and alloys. And there's not really any further development I can do on Earth. As a matter of fact, it's reached the maximum ascension tier as well. Storm is a factory world with mining districts. These mining districts are still temporary. As soon as I get a sufficient off-world mining, I will probably be shifting these over to industrial. So there is a little bit more development I can do on Storm. Other than that, all of its buildings are fully upgraded. It does have quite a significant amount of fortresses, and when I shift away from mining districts, I will have the mineral purification hubs to replace with another building. It will most likely be another fortress or a commercial zone. Its orbital ring supports the mining currently, as well as the orbital logistics system supporting the consumer good production. Euxina is a tomb world. Now, this was not originally a tomb world. There was a alien terraforming system on here that we completed that turned it into a tomb world. Now, this is a forge world with generator districts. It will keep these generator districts because it has a Betharian power plant. So it will be an energy producing world secondary to its alloy production. It does have some fortresses on it, and once again, it is fully upgraded. And its orbital ring is supporting alloy processing and the technicians that are producing energy credits. Nueva Cadiz is another factory world. This is a full factory world with full development. It has several commerce megaplexes. I could consider shifting these over to something else, but I kind of like the way this world has developed. And these provide more jobs than anything else, so I have a lot of worker unemployment that will be happening on all of my worlds because they have reached the level of their development. This orbital ring supports the consumer good production. It also has a transit hub on it because there was no starbase in this system with a transit hub. Almada'in is a forge world with generator districts. Since it has at least 10, I will maintain these resource producers. Anytime I have at least 10 of a basic resource on a world, I like to develop that. It is also fully developed and possesses a Ministry of Culture. It also has the Matriarch's flagella we got from fighting the Tiyanki Matriarch that gives it organic pop assembly. So it actually produces two types of population at the same time. Its orbital ring supports the technicians and the metallurgist, boosting my energy credits and alloy production. Blizzard is one of my mining and research worlds, and it will maintain its mining districts even though it is designated as a forge world. That way I'm not worrying about it producing both types of industry and have to have the extra buildings to support, since I wanted more of my buildings to be research complexes. It is fully developed, and its orbital ring supports the mining and the alloy production. It is also maximum ascension tier. Avalon is the world that I'm currently increasing the ascension tier on. It is a society research world. It has been fully developed, and it has just city districts on it because of one of the features. The portal research area adds more researcher jobs per pops. Now it currently has a population of 111, and it has housing to support 138 more. So this could get up to about a 250 population, which would be, from where it is now, another 140 would be about 4 to 5 to 6 more researcher jobs. Its orbital ring is supporting the clerks because it is primarily city districts. It has a lot of clerks, a little bit more amenities, and boost to the trade value. And it has a transit hub because there was no starbase in the system. Ultinia is a factory world. It is also my physics research world. It has been fully developed as well. Its orbital ring is supporting the consumer goods production. It also has a transit hub because there was no starbase in the system. New Jamestown is my engineering research world. It is designated as an urban world. Despite the fact it produces generator districts, I really don't need a boost to my energy credit production. Right now, this is because I just loaded the game. My energy credit production is about 11K a month. It has been fully developed, and the urban world is giving me a discount on the upkeep of all of my buildings, which gives me more value than the energy production. Right now, I am producing 854 energy from technician jobs, but I'm also have my building upkeep is about 50 energy credits and about 10 of the exotic gases. And then, of course, you add in the other districts, there's another 40. If I were to switch this to Generator World, I get a little bit more energy production. It jumps up to 909, but you see my upkeep has also increased. I gained an extra full extra exotic gas I am using, and instead of the districts and city districts adding 40, they're adding 44. Instead of the buildings adding 48.8, they're adding 54.9. So overall, I gained very little, but I ended up using more strategic resources. And I think because I don't have a problem with the energy credits, the reduction in strategic resources and the boosted trade value is better from being an urban world. There are no star-based buildings to boost researchers, so I am boosting the technicians and the clerks, even though I don't have that many clerks with the orbital ring. Actually, I do have a decent amount. Yes, I am primarily city districts because this also has the space-time anomaly researcher jobs added based on pops. Nozomi is a factory world. It also has some administrative complexes on it. It is fully developed, and its orbital ring is supporting the bureaucrats and the artisans. Shangri-La was originally called the Veil. It kept shifting back and forth from a Gaia world to a shielded world or void world. I forgot a shadowed world. I forgot the exact terminology, but it was uninhabitable because it shifted to another dimension. Shrouded world, that was the term. It has 10 agriculture districts, but it is a factory world with some administration on it. Its orbital ring supports the food production and the consumer good production. Even though I really don't need the food production so much, I don't think shifting away from the food production just to boost a little bit of administration. I mean, it's 18 bureaucrats, so that would be 18 more unity per month if I shifted over there. Well, at least 18 more. I still think I'm just going to leave it as the agriculture support. Xianyang is another tomb world we had found. Now this one was a tomb world when we got to it. I think originally it might have been a primitive world and they had a nuclear war. It is a forge world with a lot of generator districts, and it has a little bit of soldiers on it in the terms of the fortresses. Its orbital ring is supporting its alloy production and its energy production. Dis is another research world for society. It is designated as a forge world, and it is likewise fully developed. I do have one fortress on it. I could probably switch that to something else, like say another research complex, but I don't really need it, and that fortress actually boosts me enough to have the full allotment of Titans I wanted. Its orbital ring is boosting the alloy production. Other than that, it does have a star base with a transit hub, so I just put a resource silo as the other building. Nueva Sonora is an urban world. It is also one of my breadbaskets with agriculture districts, but I saw no reason to boost the agriculture as food is in abundance for my empire. It has a lot of administrative complexes on it in addition to the food. Its orbital ring is supporting the bureaucrats. Other than that, it is an orbital anchorage with a naval logistics office, because additional districts really weren't going to help out much. Yeah, sure, I could put some more city districts on here. Those would just add clerk jobs. I would rather have had the naval capacity. Akatsuki is a forge world, and it has temporary mining districts. This is the second world that I have mining districts on. I will be shifting off. It has soldiers as its secondary on here, and these will eventually shift over to be more industrial districts, boosting my alloy production. The orbital ring currently is affecting the mining, and it also affects the alloys. Winzhou is a factory world with generator districts. It has likewise been fully developed and has several administrative complexes on it. Its orbital ring is supporting the technicians and the artisans. New Coventry was my first habitat, and it is a refinery station. It has chemical plants on it producing the volatile motes. It does have one level of upgrade it can do, and as you can see, I swapped the final. I originally had 5 volatile mote production on this, but I decided to switch it over to a hypercoms forum because that adds more jobs, as well as reducing the housing usage and reducing the population upkeep, in addition to boosting governing ethics attraction. And it also generates unity. And more unity means I can get more ascension tiers faster. So since I'm going to have so many refineries, I can usually spare the last slot to be a hypercoms forum. St. Pomeroy is another refinery. This one is for the rare crystals, having synthetic crystal plants on it, and it likewise could use one more upgrade. But upgrades on my refineries are not critical. They'll just add basically trade districts, which will in effect boost my energy credits a little bit. San Lucas is my research ring world, the first section of it. This was originally Cybrex Alpha. It has several nanite transmuters on it, converting the nanites we recovered from the L cluster into every strategic resource type. It is fully developed for research and provides about 1.5k research of every field. Al Nukeira is the second research section of that ring world, and is also fully developed the same way. Mars is a unification center. It does have 10 agricultural districts on it, but it is primarily trying to boost the bureaucrats and be one of my big unity producing worlds. Still only ends up producing about just under 700 unity. The orbital ring is an orbital anchorage, because there was no reason to add more districts here, and it has an orbital filing system to support the bureaucrats. Now if we actually take a quick look at the bureaucrats, each bureaucrat is producing over 18 unity apiece, and there are 24 bureaucrats on this planet. They have a base of 5. They're getting 1 extra because of the orbital building. Base of 4 with 1 extra is because of the orbital ring building. So that gives them a base of 5 with enough modifiers to get more than triple its value out of it. Baffin is a resort world. Now, I can't do anything with the districts on a resort world, and this is primarily an administrative world. And it's about reached its cap on population because it only has 1 available housing left. Now, every population on a resort world adds an additional clerk job. Every 2 pops adds an additional clerk job. So this would be a nice world to have a lot of bonus housing, but I much preferred having 5 fully upgraded administrative complexes on here rather than spamming lots of housing just for clerks. Its orbital ring is another anchorage because there's no reason to add districts to a resort world. You can't build them anyway. And it has an orbital filing system to support the bureaucrats. St. Yegerov is the industrial segment of Cybrex Alpha ring world. It is just a general industrial world, so it is producing both artisans and metallurgists and has full support for that. All of these buildings are fully upgraded, and it has a few soldiers on here as well. Spring is the final segment of Cybrex Alpha. It is an agricultural ring world. It's actually split between agricultural segments and commercial segments. 6-4 balance, and has a lot of administrative complexes. And it is also fully developed. Terrania is a factory world. with a lot of agricultural districts and administrative complexes. Its orbital ring supports the farmers with a climate optimization station and the artisans with an orbital logistics system. And this world is also fully developed. Themis is another refinery that also was built over a gas deposit, so it has a gas extraction well as well. Now currently, the refinery station is just boosting my refiner's output by 10%. As of Tuesday's update, refinery station boosts their output by 20% and also boost the miners for strategic resources. So designating something that is over a deposit like this that adds gas extraction wells as a refinery and filling out the rest of the buildings with a refinery will boost both your extraction wells and your refineries. It has no upgrades, and again, not critical because all that's going to do is add more clerks. San Fernando is a mining habitat. It is fully upgraded and it produces almost 600 minerals off of this world. If we were to compare that, let's jump back to one of my big mining worlds, which would be Blizzard. Blizzard has 12 mining districts, an orbital ring supporting mining, as well as the mineral purification hubs, and it is producing 800 minerals with 12 districts. San Fernando, with just 8 districts, is producing just 200 less minerals. And it does not have an orbital ring supporting them. So that means these miners are not getting the extra bonus that the ones on Blizzard do. So you see how effective a mining habitat can be compared to a world. It is equivalent to at least 10 districts and pretty close to being equivalent to 12. New Troy is another mining habitat, fully upgraded. Puerto Gonzales is another exotic gas refinery with gas extraction wells, and it can use 2 more upgrades. Olympia is another chemical refinery for volatile motes, and it can use 2 upgrades. And I believe, going back to Puerto Gonzales, it does not have the final building swapped out. As I build more refineries, I will eventually start phasing out some of my habitat's final buildings to be the hypercoms for them when they're fully upgraded. Algissa is another mining habitat, fully upgraded. Anchor, another mining habitat, fully upgraded. Wangtong is a fully upgraded generator habitat. It produces about 800 energy credits. And if we were to compare that with one of my larger generator worlds like Al Mada'in with 10 districts produces 856. Where Wangtong is just 50 points below that as a habitat. Those 8 districts are just about equivalent to 10. And it does not have an orbital ring boosting its technicians, whereas Algissa did. Hope is another refinery for exotic gases. La Isabela is a refinery for volatile motes. New Jerusalem is another mining habitat, fully upgraded. Concord, also a fully upgraded mining habitat. Mjolnir, a fully upgraded mining habitat. Delgovicia, another fully upgraded mining habitat. Port Karakasov is a fully upgraded factory station. So it is producing consumer goods for me, and they end up producing about 300 300 consumer goods. If we were to go back to Earth, Earth actually produces, with 21 industrial districts, produces 581. So it's producing just under double, and it's got 21 districts compared to 8. So habitats are pretty effective for their small size. The upkeep on the industrial districts here is identical to the upkeep of an industrial district on a planet. It's just 2 energy credits. San Cristobal is another chemical refinery. Tuscany is the first section of my second ring world, which is an industrial ring world. It is the forge section, fully upgraded with administrative complexes in addition to the industrial segments. New Roanoke is the factory segment of that ring world, also fully upgraded, and as you can see, it produces about 1,800, actually almost 2,000 consumer goods. So it is equivalent to about 10 habitats, just about. Salam is the agriculture section of my second ring world with a lot of administrative complexes on it. Alcarac is another fully upgraded generator habitat. Thea is another chemical refinery. Al-Mataba is the final section of my second ring world. It is a commercial ring world with a fully developed commercial segments and a lot of administration support. Las Veritas is another synthetic crystal refinery. Serendipity is another exotic gas refinery. Bounty is another fully upgraded mining habitat. New Birmingham is a fully upgraded research habitat. Now it's only providing about 300 research of every area, which is about 1/5 of what I get out of the ring worlds. New Mexicali is another fully upgraded factory habitat. Gehenna is another synthetic crystal refinery. San Andreas, another chemical refinery. Tantalus, another exotic gas refinery with an exotic gas deposit. Browns Ferry, another generator habitat, fully upgraded. Pandora, another chemical refinery. Hieronymus, another exotic gas refinery. Menoidius, another chemical refinery. New Beijing, another fully upgraded mining habitat. Epitah, another synthetic crystal refinery. As is Demophon, Thrace, Hera, and Eunomia, and Dionysus, and Grothic. Aquator is the first habitat we get to that is not fully upgraded. We are in the process of upgrading this. It is a unification center. So I am upgrading it so that I can add more habitation districts or another habitation district to boost the housing. Now it has a lot of administrative complexes, produces over 400 unity on this world. New Huntsville is another fully upgraded research habitat. Honus is another synthetic crystal refinery, as is Hermes. Breidablik is a leisure station. I built it to add more fortresses to boost my fleet capacity. Themis is another synthetic crystal refinery, as is Junpei. Sarcanus is a mining habitat that is in the process of its final upgrade. All of its buildings are fully upgraded. It just can add 2 more districts in a couple of years when this is completed. Mwanga Station is a generator habitat undergoing its final upgrade. Hephaestus is another chemical refinery. Hestius is another research habitat that is in the process of upgrading to its final upgrade. Now, the research stations, as opposed to the planets can have a modifier that will boost a type of research, usually up to about 20%. But research station is the only planetary designation that would give a bonus to researcher output, compared to the research planet, which reduces researcher upkeep instead of boosting output. Noaten is a research station in the process of still building. It has one more upgrade it can do when it finishes its research district. Artemis is a mining district in the process of being built. Isolus is another mining habitat in the process of being built. New Fairfield, another mining habitat in the process of being built. And that is the extent of our current planets or colonies. We are holding off on building more habitats right now until I get up to almost 1,000 influence to renegotiate a deal with the League of Phemisto, so I can shift them over to be a prospectorium for us. We are the leaders by a large margin in technology and every other field. Our economic strength is about 10K higher than the closest person below us. But the score-based victory will not happen until the year 2800, which is still 350 years away. Endgame is about 150 years away, but since we have eliminated a fallen empire, there was originally the Zakplot vestige over here, there is a small chance that an endgame crisis can trigger before endgame. It checks every 5 years, so we've got about 30 more checks, but it is a very small chance, so it's not guaranteed. Now, if an endgame crisis does pop up, I believe I'm going to handle it quite readily. The question is, how will the rest of the galaxy survive? Now, as long as there are empires not aligned with our Federation, I'm pretty sure we're going to be constantly at war. And they will be making claims, so we'll be slowly chiseling away at the opposition. Every war, a few of their systems will change hands until eventually they're completely conquered. And then at that point, I think my alliance will start squabbling amongst themselves. But I don't believe that they're going to be able to handle an in-game crisis, whether we get unified or not, anytime soon. Their economies are not nearly as strong as mine. Their ability to fight is a lot weaker than mine. And they have actually proposed, I believe it was the Pirac who proposed this, yes, changing the council size to 1, which basically will make me the leader of the galactic community so that I can help push my overall agenda, which is spreading egalitarianism and xenophilia throughout the galaxy, so that everybody embraces democracy, basically. And that is the state of the Union. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.